Hello and thanks for joining us on a special edition of Chicago Tonight. I'm Brandis Friedman. Paris Schutz has the evening off. Tonight is the latest in our series, WTTW News, A Safer City. Every Monday in July and August, we're devoting our entire program to the issues of public and community safety. We'll also be prioritizing public safety in our online coverage as well, including at WTTW.com/safercity. Tonight, a deep dive into employment opportunities for youth across the city and how teens are mobilizing to tackle violence in their own ways. Here's what we're looking at.
Let's get to work where we double the amount of young people that we hire.
Following Mayor Johnson's pledge, a look at where the city's goal of hiring more youth stands. Plus, young people take charge in an anti-violence effort, what their perspective brings to the table.
Long after we're gone, the community is actually coming back out.
And reclaiming safe public spaces for communities across the city with a big dose of fun. All that and more right after this.
Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by Alexandra and John Nichols, the Jim and Kay Mabey family, the Polk Brothers Foundation, and the support of these donors. Chicago Tonight's coverage of public safety is supported by the Su Ling Jin Charitable Foundation Initiative for Reducing Violence in Chicago.
Though summer typically means teens can take a break from school, it's also a time for teens to learn in different ways, like through a summer job. Mayor Brandon Johnson says teen employment is more than a paycheck, but also a public safety priority. He's pledged to double the number of jobs in the city's youth employment program known as One Summer Chicago. Here to check on that goal and discuss the impact of teen summer employment are Jennifer Johnson, Chicago's Deputy Mayor for Education, Youth, and Human Services. We should point out that Jennifer is not related to Mayor Brandon Johnson. Tony Diaz, Chief Program Officer at After School Matters, a nonprofit providing paid opportunities for Chicago high school students. And Jamari Coleman, who's participating in the Peacemakers program with After School Matters this summer. Thanks to the three of you for joining us. Deputy Mayor Johnson, let's start with you. Youth jobs, as we know, they've been one of new Mayor Brandon Johnson's top priorities. On the campaign trail, he pledged to double the number of youth who are employed with summer jobs. How far are we to get into that goal?
You know, it depends on what you're counting from, but what we are intending to do is double the number over the course of this administration. We've made progress on that this summer. We expect to see several thousand additional youth jobs fulfilled, and we've already started conversations about year-round employment. We really want to make more robust the programs that the city has, which are newer and actually relatively small, and we're really calling on all employers, all departments, all agencies of the city to think about where youth could have great experiences. That's the other piece. We don't just want, a token office position. We want experiences that are going to lead to students feeling fulfilled, finding passions, getting skills that are going to take them further in their life. So we want quality and not just quantity.
In 2019, though, the city's One Summer Chicago program was able to employ nearly every teen who applied. But last summer and again this summer, we've got some numbers here on the screen, the program has had jobs for fewer than half of those who have applied. Why do you think youth employment hasn't rebounded from the pandemic?
You know, I think there's two things going on. One, the need is just so great, and even the application numbers don't really speak to the full breadth of need, right? Those are the young people who got assistance and were able to go through the application process. The need is greater. And the other piece is we've really tried to do some things internally at the city in terms of the quality of the experiences, but also the pay. And so we want youth employment not to be a small number of hours. We want them to be real part-time jobs, in some cases full-time job experiences to keep students really occupied throughout the day and throughout the summer. We also increase the pay. And so pay parity is really important to this administration. And so young people should be receiving minimum wage. And that's not something that they were always receiving in the past. So again, we want quality. We want to show the young people that we value them with what we're paying them. And so that means it's going to be a little more challenging in terms of budget, in terms of getting the numbers. So we expect the numbers to come, but we don't want to just do it arbitrarily.
Tony, we know that After School Matters was formed in 1991 by former Chicago First Lady Maggie Daley, longtime Chicago Cultural Affairs Commissioner Lois Weisberg, offering teens paid opportunities, but they're not your typical summer job. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Yeah, so we provide after school and summer paid opportunities for high school teens throughout the city of Chicago, and we have programs in nearly every community in the city. We work with schools, parks. We have 3 flagship locations as well, and we also offer programs at different partner organizations that really provide this programming in arts, STEM, communications and leadership, and sports. And like Deputy Mayor said, I think the pay piece is very important for our young people, especially really when we think about access. We want our young people to have the opportunity to not have any barriers for participation, but that quality piece is also very important. We want to ensure that they have a pathway in whatever career path they might want to take on. We want to make sure that they're learning new skills. Of course, having fun, right? Because we want our young people to have fun while they're in the program, meeting peers across the city, but that they're gaining some critical skills that they're going to be able to take on after their high school years.
Jamari, I see you nodding your head. We know that you participate in After School Matters Peacemakers program. Tell us a little bit about that and what a typical day might be like for you.
A typical day may be like us being like checking in to see how our weekend's going, because it gives us a chance to express ourselves.
What kind of work or what kind of activities have you gotten into? What have you been able to do?
We've been able to like get school supplies for students, and we actually go out into the community and actually pick up the trash.
Tell me more about what else you've been able to do, how long you've been with Peacemakers.
I've been with Peacemakers for quite a while. I get to work with great mentors like my mentor, Johnny Dorsey, and I get to meet new people that I never actually seen before, and it gets me a chance to socialize more.
Deputy Mayor Johnson, we've had a couple of incidents, of course, of crowds, unruly teens causing some chaos in the last few months. The most memorable one, that incident near Millennium Park in April. We know that, the mayor has, said that this is, we need to stop demonizing the youth and the young people and instead find employment opportunities for them. Is employment a public safety issue?
Absolutely. It's one of the many strategies that we need to employ in order to ensure that young people feel valued, feel seen, and have positive experiences where they can be themselves, but also grow. I think we are taking for granted just how much trauma we've all been through, but particularly our young people through the pandemic. But the pandemic just exacerbated existing challenges that our communities face. And so we think employment is one part of that. We also need to think about safe spaces. One of the youth jobs this summer, our young people get to create safe spaces for their peers in their neighborhood, and they have kickbacks. We don't have enough opportunities like that, spaces where young people can congregate, hang out, do an activity. And so we've connected youth employment through One Summer Chicago and My Shine, My Future to enrichment programs. And so I think we need more of that. We need everyone to step up and say, I can actually offer something to young people, space, employment, and we're here to support and help people learn how to do that well. But it's going to take all kinds of strategies to keep our young people occupied. Because, we all got into a little shenanigans when we were a teenager, right? But we need to have opportunities in every community.
And for some of us, those shenanigans led to different places,
That's
right?
right.
Like, so consequences are very different depending on who you are and where you are.
That's absolutely right.
Tony, what are some of the biggest barriers for teens getting jobs?
So I think, again, which is why it's so important that we pay our teens a stipend. Sometimes it's transportation, so just getting to and from their programs is really important. Sometimes a lot of parents, like Deputy Mayor mentioned, are engaged with their young people and helping them find and navigate spaces, but some of our young people don't have that. So having those adult mentors are really important. So whether it's counselors at schools or just community leaders that are helping them connect to different opportunities that exist, that's really key. We want to make sure that our young people know what's out there and that they're connected to quality, high impact opportunities where they can really thrive and again learn those soft skills that we want them to walk away with. A teen might participate in a culinary program, but may decide I'm not looking to become, go into the culinary field, but I was part of that program and learned how to work as a team or learn communication skills, verbal communication or just presentation skills. So it's important for them to have those experiences and have those mentors that oftentimes they may not have at home. I may have had that with my own parents in some regard, but we need folks outside of home that are also providing them that opportunity.
Yeah, we all know kids sometimes listen to other adults better than they listen to the folks at home. Tony, only about half of the teens who apply, as we know, are able to actually get an After School Matters placement. What additional resources do you need to ensure that more teens, maybe every teen that applies, can have access to work?
So I think what's been helpful is we partner with the city, obviously with My Shine, My Future, just really providing them opportunities. Where else can they go to find opportunities if we may not have one that's available for them. But in any way or form, we try to always place them in some type of program or some type of space. We want the teens that are looking for a program to find an opportunity. So we never want to turn anyone away. But of course, the need is higher than, the demand is higher than what we have available at times. So we're working on that. And I appreciate the mayor and his administration for really focusing on elevating that and making that a priority.
Jamari, besides the obvious paycheck, what would you say are some of the other benefits to having work in the summer?
Having great mentors.
What would you say this summer opportunity has meant for you?
It's meant a lot to me. I get to meet new people, and it gives me a chance to get myself active, not stay in the house all day. It gives me a chance to actually go out and meet people and have great mentors, because my mentor, Johnny Dorsey, he's taught me to humble myself and taught me self-control. That's why I love this program so much, and I believe this program is a chance for teenagers to get off the streets and actually be active in the world and lead themselves into the future.
Useful lessons, I'm sure. Thanks to all three of you for joining us, Deputy Mayor Jen Johnson, Tony Diaz, and Jamari Coleman. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Sometimes making a neighborhood safer is as simple as a water balloon fight or playing in a bounce house. Chicago Tonight's Nick Blumberg is live in Garfield Park with more on how a coalition of different organizations are making public spaces safe, welcoming, and fun. Nick?
Well, Branda's public safety isn't just about addressing the root causes of crime or stopping people from picking up a gun. It can also be about creating a sense that people can spend time outside and experience the joy of a Chicago summer that I know we all look forward to. On Friday, we visited this park to see how a series of events called Light in the Night is doing just that. On a hot summer day, the fun in St. Louis Park is spilling out into the street. Today's event has a basketball tournament, food on the grill, and plenty of water balloons. That reflects the range of different events that make up the Light in the Night series.
Things from seniors playing card games to children being able to engage in bounce house and snow cones, and I even worked the cotton candy machine one event.
The idea is to reclaim safe public spaces for communities across Chicago. It's part of metropolitan peace initiatives and communities partnering for peace's holistic approach to make the city safer for everyone. For Light in the Night, they partner with 14 different groups across 27 communities.
Each community in Chicago is unique, and so we want to make sure that we have individuals and what we call licensed to operate and know their communities well and can serve the residents in their area the best.
Dominique McCord says people want to feel like they have a place to gather with friends, family, and neighbors, even when the street isn't filled with the sounds of a basketball tournament and a dunk tank.
Our hope is that while we have Light in the Night, let's just say Thursday through Saturday, but on a Tuesday night, they'll feel just as comfortable as they did when we were out there to, again, as we say, reclaim these safe spaces in their communities.
It actually is proven that once we saturate the area with our presence, with food, music, as well as just getting the community to come back out, long after we're gone, the community is actually coming back out on their own.
Damian Morris works for Breakthrough Urban Ministries just down the block from this Light in the Night event. He says after a violent incident about 14 years ago, many people simply stayed inside. The work of creating a safe and joyful environment motivates him. The events also create opportunities for the vendors who get hired with a focus on Black and brown Chicagoans, as well as the young people who work with Breakthrough.
We use this moment to stipend them as events management assistants, so we giving them that work experience, but we also allowing them to see the results of their hard work as well.
I feel like Breakthrough is like a second home. I've been with them for like a short time, but a long time, and I got comfortable really fast.
Niana Stinson's worked with Breakthrough for 3 years. She says helping run these events and seeing the results of her hard work is gratifying, even if it can be a little out of her comfort zone.
I'm not really an outgoing person, but when I see the people, I want them to smile. I want to make jokes for them so they can be comfortable. I just like doing stuff like that. I want them to feel like it's just natural, like you're at home.
Light in the Night events generally run from Wednesdays through the weekend all summer long. They kick off in the afternoon most days and run through 8 or 9 o'clock. We've got a link to the full series of Light in the Night events all those different groups across the city put on our website. Brandis.
Nick, thanks so much. Looks like fun. Gun deaths among youth in the U.S. rose 50% in just 2 years. In Chicago, young people are leading efforts to reverse these trends. Joining us are youth organizers Zaleel Morris with Good Kids Mad City, Lyric Harris with Bold Resistance Against Violence Everywhere, or BRAVE, Dariana Ford with Communities United, and Yuritsi Salcedo with Mikvah Challenge and a member of the Chicago Public Schools Student Advisory Council. Thanks everybody for joining us, team. So all of you are currently students. I'd like to know, kind of why you wanted to get involved in, in this kind of work. Zaleel, I'll start with you.
I lost a lot of friends due to gun violence, and that's one of my big reasons on why I feel like I should be a part of this movement and what's going on in my community.
I'm sorry to hear that you lost so many friends and felt moved to do this. Lyric, same question to you.
Hello. I've lost a lot of family and friends to gun violence and to tragedies that were unfair, and also to try to make a difference in life, that we need a change in Chicago that could be better for all of us and children, because children, we need hope. So,
Yuritsi?
I joined because I feel like I've seen a lot of things happen at my school where it's like the safety isn't there. People feel like going to school is a hazard. So I just want to make sure that I get the opportunity to speak up for that, and others that don't have the opportunity, that I can do that for them.
Dariana?
I joined just to make a change in my community, because I often feel like that because I am a child that I can't really, my voice doesn't matter, that I can't really make a change, but through my organization I have been able to do that.
Lyric, you recently spoke at an event about ending gun violence. What did you talk about?
repeat.
You recently spoke at an event about ending gun violence. What did you talk about?
I talked about how the violence that took on the path of is ruining our children. And it's like, it's really traumatizing waking up in the morning. You cannot be a kid in Chicago. You cannot walk to the corner store. You cannot walk to the store. You cannot just even get a grab of water because it's dangerous. You can get shot. Anything can happen. My own mother is scared of me walking outside just to go to the store just to grab a glass of water or something because I can get shot, I can get kidnapped, I can get missing. And children are being endangered every single day. My speech was about how Javar Watts that passed away recently last year, he shot himself with an assault weapon. Well, a weapon, period. And he was a child, he was 9 years old, and he lived 2 blocks down from my house on Union, and I stay on Emerald off of Halsted. And it really moved me to the fact of our children is in danger. So my speech was about the fact of you guys need to hear their names, and you guys need to recognize these children are in danger. That's why my speech was about.
Zaleel, Good Kids Mad City, you all have been pushing for the Peace Book. What is that?
Yes, ma'am. The Peace Book is basically an app that provides resources to communities that are affected by gun violence. And it basically, it's an app that provides, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So it sounds like it provides resources that, who can use this book? Who's it useful for?
Basically, the communities, the neighborhoods, everybody in the neighborhood and the communities. And, it would provide peace. It would provide, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Is there like, what are some of the tips that you would say or some of the suggestions that the book makes to help people?
It would help people with mental illness, and it would basically just help with resources for people that's in need, basically.
Mm-hmm. Dariana, you worked on getting school resource officers out of your high school and told our producer that was something that was really important for you. How does school resource officers in schools, how does that fit into the larger conversation about youth public safety?
Well, if students are having or children are having a negative experience with a police officer out on the street, that may later on affect them on how they having a relationship with a police officer or a SRO, a school resource officer, later down the line when they have them present in their school. This may make them fear them based off just what they see in their community or how police officers are, how they move around in the community. So, and then having a police officer inside of a school may make them feel like it's not a safe environment. They may not feel safe or they may not feel heard just because the police officers are around or an SOR is around.
Do you think students ever felt that the existence of an SRO in a school might have increased the likelihood that, a cop or the cops get called or criminal charges get filed on something very minor that the school probably could have handled itself?
Definitely. I feel like their first instinct at my school, their first instinct was to straight go to the SROs about certain incidents that happened inside the school, where it could have been taken into the office and it could have been handled way differently than where they would go a lot with it. A lot of our students would just simply get arrested.
Yuritsi, when talking about public safety, what do you think is the importance of mental health resources?
I feel like mental health is one of the biggest things. I feel like it goes hand in hand with like overall safety. I feel like if a person doesn't feel like in a safe environment where they feel like they can be heard, where they feel like they can express themselves without any backlash, I feel like that is what makes it so hard for people to feel like they have a space to go to and feel okay with it. And then that's when situations where like incidents between students happen, or incidents between staff and students.
Yeah. So another question, I want to go around the table on this one. What does public safety look like to you? Zalil?
To be honest, there is no public safety in my eyes. But like basically a community coming together, that's public safety in my eyes.
Lyric?
It's terrible. My community is terrible. The city is not providing for Chicago needs. It's not providing for our children needs. It's not providing for our safety. We do not feel safe. As much as we don't blame the cops, we don't blame our kids. Our kids are not the reason, our neighborhoods are not the reason, police is not the reason, the city is the reason. There's so many things that could have been established, accomplished, and settled in, but they decided not to.
And I guess that's what I mean by the question is, what would it take for public safety, for you to feel safe, for your communities to look safe? Yuritsi?
I would like to see, like at my school, I would love to see like peer juries, making sure that the students are the ones leading the conversations that need to be held by the people, like the students, because being an adult, there's that border of like power. And a lot of times that's where it gets hard, and it gets hard to like be able to explain what's going on, to be able to want to open up. And I just feel like overall, like a peer jury, making sure that like security guards at schools or in general like get better training to make sure that they know how to handle situations with youth.
Dariana?
I would say a lot of after-school programs and making sure that that the students and that the kids are part of the decision-making. If these things are going to affect us down the line or right now, then we should be a part of the decision-making. We should have our voices heard also, especially if it's going to affect us.
Zalil, what do you think people get wrong about the narrative of young people in Chicago? What do you hear? What do they often say that you're like, that's not true, that's not right?
That the youth is just bad, and like the youth are just bad, and that we create the narrative, and that we basically we not bad at all. We just go through a lot, and there's a lot that's going on that y'all don't really know about, and that's what I feel like.
Lyric?
I feel as if we face day-to-day trauma that we cannot control, which is okay because things are the way that it is, but we do not want it to be. It is what it is. I think that, well, I know that we deserve more of community centers. We do have them, but I would suggest more so of like longer hours of working, a little bit more pay, because if your child gets off at 9 p.m. and he goes home, he should just go home. Because a lot of children are born into households that are uncontrollable things that we cannot control. And we do not have things to do. And even if we get a job, we need longer hours so that we can stay busy. A lot of kids tend to deal with a lot of traumatic experiences that they cannot control. It can just be PTSD or anything. And they'll try to keep themselves distracted by doing the opposites of what we should be doing. And people influence that because they think, oh, youth is bad. We're not bad. We're just in the bad. We were born into the bad. We want to be good and be into the good and want to try more good things. I would suggest longer hours of working, open the community centers till 11 p.m. in case if they cannot go home and it's not safe, they go there. They have protection there. And I would say just be more mindful of people's mental health because people are crazy, yes. We cannot control that. But if you are trying to help a young person out and you're an adult, the first thing that should come to mind is, are you home? This is your home and come home. And I will be your home for you.
Where can you be safe? Of
yes.
Course, of course. So we're going to have to leave it there. Obviously, I know that this is something the four of you can talk about a lot because you work on it a lot. Lyric Harris, Zalil Morris, Dariana Ford, and Yuritsi Salcedo. Thanks to all of you for joining us.
Thank you
for having us.
And that is our show for this Monday night. Join us again next Monday for the next program in this series, and be sure to follow our ongoing coverage online. Don't forget to stay connected with us by signing up for our daily briefing. And you can get Chicago Tonight streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, WTTW.com/news. You can also get the show via podcast and the PBS video app. And join us tomorrow night at 5:30 and 10. The Illinois Supreme Court is set to rule on one of the pillars of the Safety Act, elimination of cash bail. And with the final list now down to 3, we hear from members of the commission charged with helping pick Chicago's next top cop. Now, for all of us here at Chicago Tonight, I'm Brandis Friedman. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm, and proud sponsor of programming that offers advice and strategies to enhance the physical and mental well-being of fellow legal practitioners in Illinois.